Emergency broadcast. State of Michigan. Entity alert. The static limb. This is not a test. Repeat. This is not a test. All citizens of the state of Michigan must comply immediately. An unidentified entity, known as the static limb, has been confirmed in multiple urban and semi-urban locations across Michigan, including Detroit, Flint, Grand Rapids, and surrounding counties. The entity exhibits extreme behavioral anomalies and presents a severe threat to life. Description of entity. The static limb manifests as a dark, multi-limbed humanoid figure. Limbs grow continuously, both vertically and horizontally, with no apparent limit. Arms and legs are jointed in unnatural ways, bending in impossible directions. The entity does not move like a typical predator. It maintains distance but demonstrates awareness of observers. Direct observation of limbs or attempts to quantify them triggers rapid movement and aggressive response. Ocular regions, if present, emit intermittent glowing reflections. Exposure to the gaze can cause severe disorientation, vertigo, auditory hallucinations, and memory lapses. Victims may experience partial paralysis or inability to speak. The static limb appears to feed off attention. Reports indicate it counts and tracks individuals, extending limbs toward perceived observers even from extreme distances. Reported behaviors and incidents. Individuals attempting to photograph, record, or broadcast the entity have gone missing. Some have been found days later in altered mental states, unable to describe their experiences. Vehicles passing near alleyways or abandoned structures report sudden mechanical failures coinciding with sightings. Engine stalls, electronics malfunction, and mobile devices lose connectivity. Domestic animals and wildlife exhibit extreme agitation when the entity is nearby. Unprovoked attacks and disorientation have been observed. The entity has been reported in alleys, abandoned industrial lots, construction sites, and parking structures, often partially obscured. Observation is believed to increase the risk of approach. Safety instructions. Do not approach the entity under any circumstances. Avoid alleys, abandoned buildings, industrial zones, and peripheral streets. Keep all children, pets, and vulnerable persons indoors. Lock doors and windows, and avoid exterior lighting that could attract attention. Do not film, photograph, or broadcast images or recordings of the entity. Repeated exposure appears to trigger awareness and may provoke aggression. Emergency services have been instructed to maintain visual observation only. Containment or engagement is strictly prohibited. Movement outside secured areas should be minimized. Do not attempt to flee toward alleyways or urban corridors where the entity has been reported. Mental health support lines are available. However, exposure to the entity has been associated with severe disorientation and confusion, making communication unreliable. Additional information. The static limb exhibits a level of awareness and patience inconsistent with biological life. It does not attack immediately. Instead, it maintains distance, observing. Counting its limbs or attempting to measure its form appears to trigger its predatory focus. Reports indicate that victims are often immobilized by fear and confusion long before the entity reaches them. Survival depends on avoiding direct observation and limiting sensory exposure. Do not attempt to communicate or signal the entity. It does not respond to verbal, visual, or electronic stimuli except to observe and track. Repeat. All citizens of Michigan must comply immediately. Avoid alleys, abandoned lots, industrial sites, and peripheral streets. Stay indoors. Do not attempt to engage, contain, or observe the static limb. Exposure increases risk. Observation may provoke approach. Counting or photographing limbs is strongly discouraged. The static limb is patient. The static limb is watching. The static limb is counting. This broadcast will continue to update as additional information becomes available. Compliance is mandatory. Survival depends on adherence to instructions. End of broadcast.